Okay, I'm gonna give it a minute, see if anybody shows up here. Relationships, sex, and behaviors. Yep, relationships, sex, and behaviors. I was listening to Mr. Hoka's last live stream that he done the other night that I missed out on. He posted it up finally, so I got to see it this morning. And he addressed me when it comes to sex. He was talking about sex. And he talked about, yeah, I talk about social engineering, social conditioning, and that sex is a high need. A lot of young men, a lot of people. I mean, sex is normal and that it's a really high need for people, and that is something I should talk about. Well, I have talked about this before. So I'll go ahead and address it just because Mr. Holka did bring this up. Okay. But you see, I gave the name of this live stream. Okay, relationships. It's right between the man and female. Sex. Okay, and behaviors. Because it's the behaviors of people that affect, that's really what's screwed up in today's society. Sex is being pushed across society. See, Steve did a reply at Staying Insane Amongst the Sanities, one of his videos. I wouldn't know he posted it up because I don't visit that channel whatsoever. I have no need to. Because when I tell people I walked away from that channel, I'm not joking. I walked away from that channel. Once he took down his videos and he came back up speaking the opposite message, that was deception and lies, and I have no reason to go to this channel no more. I don't respect him. I don't have trust for him. Okay? It doesn't matter to me if he makes a video speaking truth or not, because he's already showed just as quick as he'll tell you the truth, he'll deceive you and lie to you. So I have no need to go to that channel. Whether Steve goes there or not, that's Steve's issue. That's Steve's problem. That's not mine. I have nothing against Mr. Hoka whatsoever. I like Steve. So this is nothing personal. This is just how I am, okay? That's me. I don't go to his channel, so I wouldn't know what he makes. If he says anything about me, I can care less because he's already showing me his colors, okay? So that's where I stand when it comes to staying insane. But now, as far as sex, yes, CIA involvement guaranteed. Guaranteed. If Steve stuff said that Steve talked about is true. Okay, is the sex drive high? Yes, it is. But I guess it's no different than genders. Well, the porn stuff is that this is to Jeff Ashton is connected from the very top straight down. It has been deliberately pushed. At one time on the internet, you could find sex, but you couldn't find it like now, and you had to pay to view. Now it's free everywhere. For anything kinky, anything hardcore, doesn't matter what it is, you can find it everywhere on the net for free. That has been deliberately done to help destroy our society. But sex, it is natural for people to want sex. I'm not against people who want sex. I don't care what kind of sex you want, what your fantasies are. This is natural. The free porn has contributed to making your drive for sex stronger. It has contributed to actually helping you destroy yourself and destroy relationships. And to make the whole focus of a relationship on sex, 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 sex. And then you would wonder why there's so many relationships failing from our behaviors, the way we treat one another, to everything is about me, 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 the narcissist self entitlement. The issues are off the wall. Social engineering when it comes to the dating arena, men and women alike in the family unit, they have used every single weapon to divide us that they could, and they have used every single weapon to keep us from having successful relationships. People who preach pump and dump amongst the MGTOW atmosphere, they are going along with this agenda. Hook, line, and sinker, they are a fish on the line of the elites. They have bit that hook and they are flopping on the end of that line. Okay? Because this is exactly what they want. It wasn't made free for everybody to see and non-censored all over the internet for no reason at all. It is deliberately done. It's coming from the very top, straight on down. Okay, there's no doubts about that. But it's been used as a tool to help destroy us. There's nothing wrong with a man wanting sex or a woman wanting sex. There's nothing wrong with sex at all, other than the fact it's just like when we focus in on the differences between the genders. This is the reason you hear me address this. Well, but there's differences between men and women. The women have this and this, and they have the estrogen in their body, and blah, 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 and all the differences, and you put your focus on them differences. And in doing so, you destroy your chances of having a successful relationship. It's no different than the woman. She goes with all the social engineering and all of the simps and the white knights that's placed her on a pedestal her whole life, and the media's male bashing the men 365 days a year, and she goes with all this stuff, and she becomes corrupt. Her behavior becomes corrupt. You see how women treat men, and you see it, but you also see what you overlook is how you're treating the woman. This is, how many times do we hear us talking about how men are treating women? When has that become a focus? See, it's not. The attention's being put on how women are treating men and what's happening. And that's been deliberately done. But you have to understand that this social engineering has been deliberately done to destroy the genders, to completely destroy relationships in the family unit, and to keep you from ever having a successful relationship. That's what the whole focus of the whole agenda from the very top down was about. From the very beginning, from the very get-go. And understanding that is a must if you're ever to figure it out. When you put all your focus on the differences between the man and woman, as a man, you, the man, will help destroy your own chances of a successful relationship. If you allow the pornography to up your sex drive, you will destroy your chances of having a successful relationship. It's no accident. I got nothing against sex, but I'm not the typical man out here that's going to be ruled by my hormones, for my drive or my natural want to have sex. I'm not going to be ruled by that. See, let me tell you the truth about myself, and I'll guarantee you there's a lot of men out there that can't do this, and I have no qualms with doing it. See, actually, TFL did me a favor. When I lived TFL for the years I did, I couldn't get sex, could I? Because I couldn't even get a woman. And for the majority of the young men out there that are TFL and they go for years and years being rejected, they can't get a woman neither, now can they? Which means they're not getting laid unless they're going out and paying somebody, a prostitute. You know, and for me, on a personal level, for me, I absolutely refuse to pay a prostitute or a hooker. I've absolutely refused to do it my entire life, and I never have and never will. I refuse to pay some woman, especially think about the TFLers. Why would you pay the very gender that you're not good enough to be with to have sex with you? Are you out of your minds? This is how I feel about it. Do you understand that? I'm not saying you have to feel the way I feel. I'm just telling you how I feel about it. If you're completely out of your minds, I mean, that's how I feel about it, right? So, no, I would never go there. I never have and never will. Okay? But, the thing is this, I got nothing against sex. The problem is it's been used as a weapon against all of us. One reason you think that women ain't got a high sex drive is because women have no problem getting it when they want it. Women spent years being thrown out of society and ostracized if they showed that they had interest in sex. It was supposed to be that forbidden topic, and it was for a long time, and women was supposed to settle with that man, and if she went out and cheated, she was thrown out of society. And the community she lived in, they would ostracize her. She was called a whore or a slut. Excuse my language, but she was. Okay, for years that happened to women. That's not so much anymore now, is it? No, it isn't. And you have back in them days, and then you have that coming up into time. I've heard men who are, I'm proud to be a slut because I look at the red life looking for reality. When you got onto a woman for wanting to have sex with more than one partner and called her a whore or a slut or whatever you call her, and you ostracized her back then, back many years and decades ago when that was going on, while the men were out there, they were more of a man. The more times they got it, the more partners they had, that made them more of a man. No, it didn't. See, just like with the genders, what's happened here is you have focused on the differences between men and women, allowing that to become the center of your focus, which now destroys your chances of ever having a successful relationship. And also, now what you got is your natural want for sex because of pornography has increased that drive to where that becomes your focus, just like the focus on the differences. Furtherly destroying the genders, keeping us divided. And so many people are just unable to see that for whatever reason. Okay? They're just unable to see what this has actually done to them. This is the reason I tell people you got to take your mind off the differences. And I'm not trying to be an idiot when I tell you to take your mind off the differences. I'm not trying to make you sound like blah, blah, but let me tell you, I'll tell you something about myself that most people don't know. There's a lot of men out here that if the woman uses her sexuality, they're so weak-minded they will fucking fall down every single psyop rabbit hole that she creates for them just for that opportunity to put their dick where. She knows this too. And she uses that sexuality of hers to control you. Okay? So, no, leaving the country isn't a solution, because the fact is NWO, New World Order, is real. It's not a conspiracy theory. What's going on here in the United States is going on in the United Kingdom, is going on in Germany, is going on around the world. So unless you're leaving the planet, what good is that going to do you? It's understanding what's going on. This is why I said it's important to know the root cause of our problems. You don't got to stay focused on it, but you need to at least understand what's going on. And if you can understand what's going on, then you need to understand that you have to back up and examine your own behavior so that you can deprogram yourself from the corruption that they have programmed into us. And that's not going to be easy to do, because it's been your whole life. I never said there'd be nothing easy about this at all. Okay. But for myself, I'll tell you, this is how I handle it, because a woman uses her sexuality to entice you, to lower you, to control you. Let me give you one of a woman's power trips that they like to use. And I think men that's had women experience this already. You make her mad, you don't give her one of her wants, and she uses, well, I'm not going to have fun with you. We're not going to have sex. I'm denying that from you. I'm taking that and using my body as a weapon, and there will be no sex till you comply. I have a secret weapon that TFL gave to me that prevents the woman from doing that. Now, I'm going to tell you what I do, and I'm going to tell you what a lot of guys say will happen. But this is going to test your strength, I guess, is what it's going to do. If the woman cuts you off and says no because you didn't do as I wanted, so there is no sex, you repay the favor and you cut her off. Oh, no, I can't go out. What did TFLers have to go through for years and years and years of never getting, but yet being turned on and being horny? Well, they only had mother thumbing her off for offsprings now, didn't they? They only had masturbation. Masturbation's a wonderful tool. You're going to say, what the hell am I talking about? Oh, it's a wonderful tool. Because when she cuts you off, that's right, when she cuts you off because it's a weapon to control you, you cut her off. And you just use your vivid imagination and use that hand to relieve yourself, and fuck you. You want to use it as a weapon, so can I. Now, the tables have turned. Now, she'll be angry. Because she not only didn't get her want by using her weapon against you, you took her power away from her. Do you understand that? You literally took the power away from her when you did that. But now here's what a lot of guys will tell you. Well, then this means she's going to cheat on you. She's going to run out there and blah, blah, blah. Well, I'll tell you what. If you allow that kind of thinking to control you so that she can use that weapon on you to control you, you don't need enemies, because you are your own worst enemy. Because if she really loves you, she will not leave you, because she started it. She cut you off first. She just won't use that as a weapon against you ever again. Do you follow what I'm telling you? I know this for fact because I've done it. I don't reward the woman I'm with for bad behavior. You know how they think it's makeup sex? Hollywood taught you this. That she can treat you like dirt. She can fight with you and give you drama all day long. And at the end of the day, after she's treated you lower than dirt on the ground, you're supposed to have makeup sex with her. No, Absolutely not. That's me. Hell no. I will not give her makeup sex. I'm not rewarding her for treating me that way. What are you out to lunch in your head? That is what you do. If she has bad behavior, bad attitude, and treats you like crap, why would you give her sex for bad behavior? You now escalated the problem because now you just told her that treat me however you want, honey, because I'll still go there with you. No accountability, no common sense. See, this is really where the crux of this comes from because so many, my son's mother years ago gave me drama from hell for no reason at all. From early in the morning, clear into the evening hours, I had nothing but a day of living hell of drama, 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 and over nothing. And there was no solving it because she didn't want to solve it because she was too busy having fun making that drama. Okay? So you know what I done, don't you? At the end of the day, she tells me she just stops with all of her drama. We're in the evening hours, 8, 9 o'clock at night now. I was still out in Florida. And she proceeds to treat me all nice like she didn't do anything wrong all day long. And then she wanted to go get naked and have fun. Flat fuck no. And she was mad because I told her no. And she says, well, that's how it's done on TV. And I says, you're living in a bubble. You treated me like complete dirt all day long. And you think I'm in the mood or I want to go do that with you? Are you nuts? This is exactly what I told her. So you need to understand that your sex drive has been escalated by pornography, deliberately done. Your whole focus of going into a relationship is over pornography. You think the woman don't see that? Of course she sees that. And it's not that women don't like sex as much as men, because that's a myth. That's a lie. Women do like sex as much as men, and women do want sex as much as men. Reject a woman for sex and see how furiously angry she will get. I know. I've been with women. Believe me, I lived TFL up to a time I was 28 years old, but since that time, I've had periods of TFL, but I've been with women and I have a wife right now in my life that I'll tell you the truth, I'm not far from ending it. That's right. You want to know the truth? I'm this close to ending that. Do you want to know the truth even today? I told her straight to her face, one more incident like yesterday, and you're gone. I'm not with you no more. I don't want to be with you anymore. It's over. That's what I told her. Now, you think I'm joking? No, I'm not. For people who don't know me, you better learn. I'm dead serious. I would rather be alone to live with somebody who loves drama. That's just the way it goes. Steve Hogan did his video reply to staying insane. I wouldn't give the guy the time attention myself. But I'm not Steve, and I'm not going to fault Steve for it because this is totally Steve's life, Steve's choice of what Steve wanted to do. Do I dislike Steve? Hell no. When Steve brought up the focus of sex and mentioned my name, yeah, okay, fine, I'll address that because I've addressed it before. Sex is used as a weapon against us. I've told you this, I've told you this, and I've told you this. So it ain't like I haven't said this before to people. The concept is this: as long as you focus on differences between the genders, men, this is to you guys. This is to men going their own way. This is to the manosphere. If your focus is on the differences between genders, you are going to be the cause of your own demise. You will never, ever, ever have a successful relationship with a woman. You will contaminate it and not have it. If your focus is on sex only, don't plan on keeping your relationship. These are tools that have been used to destroy us. And if you use these tools, this programming, you will fail. There's where I'm coming from. You think I'm joking? You know I'm not. If you ever want a successful relationship with your opposite gender, you better recognize what's happened and what's been done and why it's been done. I'm not putting you down for wanting sex. There's a reason sex was last on the list. And there's a reason you don't focus on the differences between genders. Acknowledge the difference, understand the difference, but that's not no big deal. It's not a focus of how you treat one another. As men and women, we're all human beings. As men and women, men and women alike have feelings, emotions, needs, and wants. We're human. As men and women alike, nobody wants to be told what to do or feel lower than somebody else. But we live in a society full of control freaks with egos that are raging and everybody wanting to dictate somebody else and tell somebody else what they can and can't do. Who wears the pants in your house? Oh, well, you better keep that woman happy. All social engineering. All a crock of shit. A way to destroy that relationship. And you see it all the time. The man, oh, you better keep your woman happy. You won't have your family. What about the man? He's not allowed no happiness? Okay, see, do you understand this is all social engineering? I'll tell you what, yeah, you better keep that woman happy, but you know what? And she better damn well keep you happy. That's right. Oh, well, you can't do it. They can't be both. Well, of course it can be both if you know what the hell you're doing. Because a successful relationship isn't based on one side only. This is why I told you dating is to get to know somebody. It's not about putting your penis in a hole. It's not about what does he have to offer her. You know, I hear this all the time. Your sexual value on the market. So, your Albertsons, your Winn-Dixie, your King Supers, your Save-A-Lot, your Audis, your Cub Foods, and the list of grocery stores go on and on and on and on and on. So let's see, your sexual value on the market. So now you have downgraded yourself to a piece of meat at your local grocery store. And you don't even know you have. All this does is help to escalate the problems we're having. Just like the classifications. Oh, well, whether they're a 1 or a 5 or a 6 or a 7, or if they're a 10 and they're really good looking. Huh? Well, if they're a geek, they're a nerd, they're a loser. Do you follow what I'm telling you? I probably ain't gonna have the money to be able to afford to make that trip. And I just first time I've actually heard of it. If I was going there to be a speaker, if I come up with the money, I'd probably go to it. Yes, I would. But it's in Chicago. But then depending on when it is, and I don't even know when it is, because it's the first time I've heard of it. To Jim there, he's talking about the on the men's rights conference. Okay, so and if there's a men's rights conference in Chicago, Illinois, then there'll probably be feminist women marching in there, and there'll probably be lots of police to screw you up. And if Karen Stroud's there, I'm definitely not going. And I'll tell you why I'm definitely not going. Because she's not there for you. She's there for the money in her pocket. And if you really believe she's there for you, you need to wake up. Because I'll tell you what, why don't you do this if you're going to be there talking to Karen Stroud? Why don't you talk about the root cause and see how fast she back turns, dodges, and avoids you? You might even get thrown out of the conference for bringing up the root cause. Because it's not about fixing the problem. It's about making money to continue to talk about symptoms. So that's not a conference I would go to. Because I'm not, if I went there, I'd be thrown out. Because I would nail her about root causes. And she would dodge me as she's always done. And they would recognize who I am. And she would recognize who I am. And they'd throw me out. Because you're not supposed to know the root cause. You're only allowed to talk about the symptom. And you're not going to change anything by calling your local congressman or your local senator. Because it wasn't an accident. It's part of NWO. Getting that through people's heads is just sometimes tough to do. So, no, I wouldn't go to that. You know what kind of conference I'd go to? If it were a MGTOW conference or a TFL conference, or if men going their own way, TFL and Incel got together, and there was no Paul Elam at the freaking stage, the podium, or no Karen Stroud at the podium, I would go to that conference. Because then it would be real. And we wouldn't just be talking about symptoms. Because even Paul Elam only talks about symptoms. Even Paul Elam will not discuss the root cause. Think he will? BS. You forget how long I've been here. You forget that I was here many years doing this before Karen Stroud even existed. While MRA was in the hands of Paul Elam. And I sent Paul Elam many messages that were blown off. I made videos addressing the root cause directed at Paul Elam that were blowing off. Even when I had 10,000 views plus a day per video that I posted, was blowing off. And if you listen to everything Paul Elam's ever done, you've never heard one time the root cause. Not even once. Even to this day, Paul Elam will not address the root cause. Because problem, reaction, solution. Understand the meaning of problem, reaction, solution. The powers to be create the problem. They already know the reaction of the people, especially men in this situation, because they've done their homework long before they created the problem. Then they give you phony solution, the pickup artist industry. Then they gave you MRA, men's right activists, so that you thought you were fighting back. And this is why they'll tell you, call your senator, you're a congressman, because they already know nothing will ever change. It came from the top. That's right. It came from the powers to be. Paul Elam is an agent. He's a plant. I don't care what you tell me, and I don't care what Paul Elam says. He's never going to come out and say right to your face on a video that, yes, I was here deliberately, I was paid, made this much money to do what I've done to you, because everybody'd be mad at him, everybody'd be out to gun for him. It'll always stay hidden. That's where this comes from. So to understand the truth is, you cannot look at people like Paul Elam, Karen Stroud, and think that you're going to accomplish anything. There's somebody in this chat, when in doubt, who has an idea. If you want to accomplish something, then how about the manosphere coming together as one? How about stop fighting one another over fluff and stuff? How about addressing the real issues and taking it to the streets? How about causing friction? How about making Karen Stroud's men's conference with friction? Go in there and call her out, and why don't you talk about the root causes? Of course, you won't last long before you're escorted out, because you're not supposed to talk about the real cause. You're supposed to know only what they want you to know. And that's the symptoms. And you can run to your local congressman or senator and have a dream. That's right. I had a dream that I was free and I lived in America. That's what that is. Because you're not free. You have more laws in this country than anywhere else on the whole face of the globe. You have a constitution that has been amended over and over and over and over. And they think, well, all these amendments are laws. No, they're not natural laws. There's a reason the Constitution was amended over and over and over and over and over for corruption. Because the Constitution, as it was wrote without the amendments, protected all of us. The amendments take your protection away from you. The amendments enslave you and destroys the Constitution. But you can't get that through some dum-dums' heads. Because there are certain people out here that just can lead them to water, but you can't help them. So, so I've got, like I said, relationships, sex, and behaviors is the name of this live stream. And I did that directly off of watching Steve Hoka's reply at me, okay? That's what I done this live stream over. Because, see, the thing is Steve Hoka's correct. But understanding the root cause, this is why I tell people, man, you need to understand the root cause of our problems. I'm not saying go do your own diligence and research that I've spent years doing. I'm saying if it takes doing a little bit of that to understand it, then do it. But you need to understand where these problems come from, because once you understand that and see it, then you will see through people like Karen Stroud. You will see through people like Paul Elam. And you will understand what's really taking place. And only with the root cause could you ever cure the problem. And we cannot cure the problem if we do not unite and come together and start working together for the same causes. And see, when in doubt, Project Mayhem has a good idea. Going to the next level, coming together and taking it to the streets. So people didn't understand why I stood with this MGTOW guy that only been online for 3 or 4 months. Why he was able to grab my attention when I've been here all these years was because what he's saying. Do you not understand that? It's so important for men to stop fighting. We have millions and millions and millions of men all over the world that are being pushed down, thrown under the bus, run over by a train, while women are being propped up and we're being abused. We have complete destruction of the genders, programming that has divided all of us, and programming that's helping you to stay destroyed. And through your own ignorance of the programming, which isn't your fault, you put your focus on differences between men and women, and you fuck up every chance you ever have of having a successful relationship because your focus is on them differences. Acknowledge the differences. Do not put your focus on it. It is not a big deal. We are both human beings. Acknowledge her as a human being. She acknowledges you as a human being. You put your focus on sex. I got nothing against you wanting sex. I understand that your hormones is a strong, powerful drive. I got nothing against that. But unfortunately, because of the way the programming and the engineering went, women do like sex every bit as much as men. Women do want sex every bit as much as men. The myth that they don't is just what it is. It's a myth. It's a complete, utter lie. The reason you don't hear it being talked about amongst the women is because they have all the choice. They get it anytime they want it. If you want to catch a liar, a man who's lying to you online when it comes to men going their own way, I'll tell you how you can catch them. When they brag about how much sex they're getting, it's a lie. Because men who get sex don't brag about getting sex. Fact. Fact check it. Women don't brag about getting sex because they get it anytime they want. So it's no big deal. It's not an inconvenience. It's not a problem in their life. The only problem they have is that's all men want. That's all men want. I understand all women want is your ATM. You're an ATM. You're an ATM. I understand all women want is usury, usury, usury. Do you understand that's division? Do you understand that's social engineering? This is why I stand with when in doubt. We have to stand up, start fighting back, and deny women. Because the power needs stripped away from them. But if we could strip the power away from the women, do we give power back to the men? No. Throw it in the dumpster out back and let it get hauled to the junkyard. Because if you give the power back to the men, then about 150 years from now, if we overturned it tomorrow and we took all the power back away from the women and we gave it back to the men, and about 150 years from now, there'd be another feminist movement, another rise complaining at the men for having the power over the women. And history would just replay itself. So take the power away from the women, throw the power in your local dumpster, and start recognizing each other as human beings, and that nobody is in charge of nobody. That's right. How many control freaks do we have in our society? How many people do we think that are out here that think that they got to be over the top of somebody else? Now, when you think about that, I don't care what your Bible says neither. That was a written script, and if you don't like it, oh well. I'm not taking your belief away from you. I'm telling you the Bible is bullshit. I'm not saying all the words in the Bible is bullshit. I'm saying it's a written script by the powers to be at the top. I'm not saying we don't have a creator. I'm not saying there isn't life after death. What I'm telling you is they pulled the wool over your face. And they're using the Bible against you. Now, if you doubt that, let me tell you something, okay? I want to ask you this one question, okay? And I want you to use some critical thinking skills and just back up and think about what I'm about to tell you. Do not leave no comment on this video about what I'm about to tell you, because you only can prove to me that you've done no thinking. Even if you say you have, you're a liar. And I'll see through your deception. So here's my thing for you, okay? So, our creator, God, made man, made animal, right? He put animal on the earth after he created the earth. And then he put Adam down here, right? And then he took a rib from Adam and created Eve. First lie. I just showed you your first lie. Because think about this. If God created earth, God put animal here, then put Adam in here, took a rib from Adam to create Eve. I want to ask you a question. What if Adam was a Chinese man? Where did I come from? What if Adam was a black man? Where did I come from? Now let me throw one more at you. God created Jesus. He's God's son. He's our creator's child. He puts his child down with us, the people he created. And we crucify and kill our very own creator's child. So then ask yourself this question. If we would crucify and kill our creator's child, what makes you think we wouldn't change the word in our creator's books? Where do you think all these books came from? It's common sense, it's critical thinking. Do I believe in we have a creator? I believe somewhere or another there is a creator. Do I believe in there's life after death? I'll tell you what, from my life experiences, I know there is. In what form and how, I don't know. But I do know there is. Do I trust the Bible? Hell no. If we would kill our own creator, don't think we wouldn't change the words in that book for 1 minute. Am I an atheist? No, not at all. I'm just a critical thinker. I've done a lot of educating myself. That's all. So now, and when in doubt, I want to look at what he said here, okay? When in doubt, he disagrees with my earlier comment. Well, that's his privilege to do. trying to catch a man lying about sex. Well, I'm going to tell you, okay, if you're talking about catching a man lying about sex, I can tell you honestly, most men who get sex don't go out bragging about it. I'm not saying there isn't a few guys doing it, but if you're getting sex on a regular basis, you don't brag about it. Common denominator, I know lots and lots of men who were married and got sex all the time. I'm 58 years old, and I know lots of men through my life. Okay? Like when in doubt, I have no doubt that you're not TFL. I have no doubt that you're not incel. Do you understand that? I know that you have gotten it, okay? But I also understand this because I've lived lots of years on this planet already and been around the block more than one time. The majority of men do not brag about getting laid. I know men who do brag about getting laid that ain't getting laid. And that's fact. So that's what I say about that, okay? Now, I'm not trying to be an ass about that. I'm just telling you, man. I'm just telling you the truth because I'm going with life experiences. I've been here 58 years and I've had women in my life and I've been married for a bunch of years and I've been in a relationship where I was married for a bunch of years where we hung out with other married couples who had kids, who were getting sex. Women get sex anytime they want it. They don't go out and brag they're getting laid. If they do anything, they'll tell you they're not getting it and lie to you. Men don't go out and get in packs and brag about I'm getting laid. They're married. They're getting laid. They have no need to. The only time I see men online bragging or getting laid, I guarantee you 90% of the time it's going to be a lie. And then they get mad because you call them out on that behavior. But men who are getting laid all the time don't represent that behavior in real life. They don't go out and brag they're getting laid. It's as simple as that. Okay, so what can I say? I understand what you're saying when in doubt, but that's not the point. This is not against men having sex at all, man. It has nothing to do with that. I mean, everybody wants sex. I have nothing to just, I mean, that's normal. That is normal, man. If you didn't want sex, I mean, then I would say there's something wrong there. So, no, it's normal if you want sex, but like I said earlier in this live stream, pornography's been used to raise that want for sex and furtherly destroying your own self because then that's all you want. Women get it anytime they want. They have no need to talk about it because deny women sex, that's a whole different story. They'll become bitter, hateful, very angry. And if you keep denying them sex, then they'll start speaking out and crying and whining about it. But overall, couples that are getting sex, going to not go out and brag they're getting sex, and that includes the man. That epidemic only seems to happen online. And I've seen too many people in real life long before the internet and even after the internet know. So you're not going to get me to agree that men brag about getting sex when they get sex because that's a lie. There may be a few men that do, but the numbers in real life is against that. Okay, that's all I got to say about that. See, so that's why I said if you want to catch a man online lying, if he's going around bragging about it getting laid all the time, chances are he's not. He's just wanting to fit in. because that's not something why somebody gets laid all the time does. Somebody who's not getting laid, who's trying to deceive other people, does that. So, and that's just fact of life. I'm sorry, I'm only going with real life experience. I'm going with hanging with other married couples. I'm going with what I know to be true. And because somebody wants to come up and deceive that, I don't care if you're a deceiver, you just tell on yourself. I'm not going to say there ain't a few idiots that brag about getting it, but them are idiots. That's the way I feel about that. If you're going to go out there and brag I'm getting sex, you're an idiot. What are you going to do? I mean, it's like if you go into a TFL meeting or you're on Steve Holker's channel and you're TFL and you got all these guys in there at TFL, what the hell are you doing rubbing sex in their face? That would be like me, our society denying you food. You're not allowed to eat. We're going to let you starve 5 days after you've had no food because you're not allowed any. We're going to take you in a room and chain you to a wall, and we're going to have a 3-course dinner in front of you. So when you go on Steve Holker's channel and you're in a live stream, you got all them TFLers there, and you start talking about I got laid. That's like rubbing it in their face. It's wrong behavior, people. How can you help somebody by tormenting them with what they're not getting? That's all I'm saying about that. I'm not going to say no more. I'm just going to tell you that is the truth right there. In a nutshell, I don't want to hurt these guys any more than they've been hurt. I want to help them. And how are you going to help them if you're busy rubbing it in their face? If we took you and chained you to a wall and denied you food for 5 days straight and then brought 100 people in there and fixed a gourmet meal and served it in front of you and didn't give you any, you'd be furious. But that's what you do when you start rubbing I'm getting sex in a TFLer's face. Okay, so that's why, that's just, I'm only saying that out of respect. Have respect if you're a man that's out there and you got a wife, you got a girlfriend in your life, and you are getting sex. Have respect and don't go into a TFL live stream or an incel live stream and start talking about you getting laid. Be there to help these guys and support these guys and get these guys to be stronger. Because the emphasis of the whole thing is pornography is free all over the internet to destroy you. And if you're not able to see it's there to destroy you, and your whole focus on a relationship is putting your dick in that hole, you're no better than she is. Because you are not helping that relationship to last, you're destroying it. You don't want a successful relationship. I understand what women has done, and that's the reason you got to take it seriously and walk away from them. Don't give them the time of day. Don't give them the power. It's just like the female I'm married to. I do not reward her for bad behavior. There is no such thing as make-up sex. Treat me like dirt. There is no sex in the story. I'll masturbate before I give it to her. So that's really where this comes from, guys. So, this is why when I said, even though maybe when in doubt and I may not agree on all topics, guess what? That's called life. Learn to agree to disagree. Don't take anything personally. I am my own individual human being. When in doubt is his own individual human being. It's called learn how to agree to disagree and learn as you go through your life, because I'm 58 years old. I've lived a long time now. I was married for a long time, a lot of years, guys. And when I was with my son's mother, we had relationships where we were around other married couples. and we hung out with them and did things. I've been around the block a few times. That's the only reason I said what I said about common denominator, the norm. The norm is men or women are alike. Don't brag, they're getting laid. Men who are trying to fit in, who ain't getting laid, will brag about getting laid. No lie. Women don't have to worry about ever doing that because they have all the choice. They get it anytime they want. There's not an issue there. I think that one of the best things that could happen is if men got the gonads to start masturbating and didn't give women sex. Huh. When I talked about taking things away from that woman and making her taste what she dishes, I'm serious. Could you imagine a population of women who went 5 years without getting laid? How would they act? How angry they would be. How could you do this to me? And the TFLer's answer could be, the same way you done it to us. Isn't it awesome? What a wake-up pill that would be. But of course, that would take a lot of fortitude on men's side to be able to do that, wouldn't it? Sure would. It's one of the things I said earlier in this live stream. Being a TFLer actually has some benefits. First off, you're not getting butt raped by the courts. Second off, you're not having days like I did yesterday with my woman, who I seriously told her today when I took her to work that one more time, one more day like that, and it's over with. I don't want you in my life. And I will throw you out of my life just that quick. And that is no lie. I done that just today. After yesterday, there's no way in hell I'll go there again. I'm up to here. I'm not going there again. You got to understand, this is how I am. This is who I am. And I would rather be alone than to deal with that, okay? I'm not going to deal with it, okay? You don't treat me or my family like dirt and think that you're just going to fucking Humpty Dory and be okay to do that and give me a fucking living hell and think there's nothing wrong with that because I'm a woman and I can do it. Yeah, you sure can. And you can also let that door hit you in the ass on the way out, bitch. That's exactly how that goes. So, I'm not going to play it. I just don't. And unfortunately, it's the way it is. I mean, I told you, behavior. And it's even more pathetic because she sits here and she knows what I do. She knows I don't hide nothing from her. She'll be sitting right here when I'm making a live stream and I'm doing a live stream or I'm doing TFL or I'm talking about MGTOW or I'm talking about everything I'm talking about. She'll be sitting right here listening to it all. She knows. But she's still got to challenge that and try to prove me different. And every last time she loses, and she's still too stupid to figure out she's going to continue to lose. But today was a situation where I told her straight up, I don't care. Now I'm on a live stream telling you. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you exactly what took place yesterday. I'm going to just tell you this. I told her straight out when I took her to work this morning, if I have one more day, like yesterday, you're taking your shit and you're getting the fuck out of my life. There is no no's. You can say no all you want, you'll still be gone. Because that's the way it is. Because I'm not going there. Okay? Just simple as that. But I'm not going to I'm not going to play into this stuff. The only thing I'm going to say when it comes to sex, I've said it many times, it's been used as a weapon against us. You have to take these two items for men for the manosphere. I'm going to repeat it before I end this live stream. These two items, the differences between men and women, we all know there is. Acknowledge them and forget them. Don't put them on the focus. Because if you put them on the focus, take it to the bank. Every time you meet a woman and try to make a successful relationship, you will destroy that relationship because of that alone. And then, sex. There's a reason it was at the last of the list. It was no accident. Put it back to the last of the list. I understand you want sex. I understand the drive is tremendous. But I also understand as a human being, you have the power to control it. Okay? And two wrongs don't make a right. Using the woman for a piece of ass because she's doing wrong on the men, I can understand, but still two wrongs don't make a right. The best answer that could ever happen is for men to rise up together, deny women sex, masturbate while you're denying them, and have a nice and vivid imagination. And I'm not saying that has to go on forever, but I'm saying if we can get numbers, guys, of men willing to take the power back, that has to include sex. When you take it all away from the women and you leave it that way for a couple, 3 years, women are going to start to fucking lose their shit and they're going to start to what the hell and why, and they'll back up and start thinking. But it has to include sex. If you don't include sex, she's still getting. That's why I said, can you imagine even 5 years? If women had to go without for even 5 years, took everything away from them, couldn't even get a man in their life, let alone sex. Now, of course, I know that ain't going to happen because we have too many weaklings out here that want to prance around calling themselves a man, but are going to think with the head between their legs that has no brains. I understand the drive is tremendous. Thank you, pornography, for upping the drive. Thank you, Elite, for helping to up the drive. Told you it was a weapon used against us. But with that, I'm going to get on out of here. I think I've said all I need to say in this live stream. But that's why I came up here. After watching Steve Hoka's live stream from the other day, where we replied to staying insane. And the other thing I would say to when in doubt, to Mike the Migtone Monk or anybody else, if you go up on one of Steve's live streams and you got all these TFLers in there, try not to talk about getting laid. I understand you getting sex. You understand you are. But don't talk about how you're getting laid because that's just like rubbing it in their face. I want to help them. I don't want to hurt them or depress them even more. And you only depress them even more because we are in a society that's very much over sexualized. And TFLers have been denied that their whole life. And so to go in there and start talking about how easy it is for you to get laid is just like rubbing it in their face. That's why I told you it'd be like chaining you to a wall where you can't get away, starving you for 5-6 days in a row, give you a couple of glasses of water because you can live longer without water. You can live longer without food than you can water. So I starve you 5-6 days in a row and bring 150 people in and feed them a 3-course fucking Mirage dinner right in front of your ass and not allow you any. How angry and how upset and hurt you'll be from that. Think about the TFLer. That's what you're doing to the TFLer if you come in there and start bragging how you're getting laid. So I would try to refrain from that. That's just a piece of advice for me to mid-tollers that go up on Steve Hoka's live chat and got all them TFLers in there. It's just a bit of respect because I want to help them, not hurt them. And I don't want to furtherly put pain on them. So that's where that comes from. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to get on out of here. And you all have a good one. And thanks for being here.